Hi, my name is Dr. Justin Didomenico, and I'm a Senior Vice President of School Consultation and a BCBA-D with Didomenico Associates. Today we're going to be talking about the pitfalls of punishment. So what's punishment? Punishment is defined as anything immediately following a behavior that decreases the likelihood that behavior will occur again. So when we talk about punishment, there are a lot of things we have to consider when we use that type of intervention. To a behavior analyst, punishment is simply a behavior reduction procedure. In the vernacular language that we commonly use, people get a little bit out of shape when you mention the word punishment. To a behavior analyst, simply saying no can be a punisher. Anything that's going to decrease the likelihood of behavior occurs again is a punisher. When you consider using a punishment procedure, we don't ever start there. We always look at using positive reinforcement, trying to increase certain behaviors. After you've exhausted all the possible options you can think of in using positive reinforcement strategies, then and then only then can you really consider using some type of punisher. And like I said, it might be mild, it might be immediate. In our own agency, we have a clinical review team that before we implement some type of punishment procedure, we would make sure we go through a clinical review with other professionals that are also in the field. So I suggest you do that as well. But when you get to the point where you're putting some type of punishment procedure in place, like I said, you really have to exhaust all the possible positive reinforcement procedures. Now, the first thing about punishment, it can be effective. I'm not going to say that punishment in itself does not work. It absolutely can be effective at reducing behaviors. The thing about punishment that you have to keep in mind is punishment only teaches you what not to do, does not teach you what to do. So that's a very important distinction. You are decreasing a behavior, but you're not teaching anything else with just a punishment procedure. You are stopping something, not necessarily adding anything. It also can be problematic in the sense that it can teach others to become better at avoiding the punishment. So you might have a punishment contingency. They might figure out how the pattern works in terms of providing punishment. You have to recognize that some people will be better at avoiding punishment. That can sometimes be inadvertently taught. Punishment can become reinforcing for the deliverer. What does that mean? Over time, if you think about you're in a classroom and all the kids are talking out, and you decide to yell at the kids and you say, all right, everybody sit in their chair. Well, immediately the behavior stops, right? So what does that teach? Well, in that immediate moment, you immediately cease the behavior. So over time, what you realize is that even though in 5 or 10 seconds, the kids are probably going right back to the same behavior, in that immediate moment, you cease the behavior. And we talked about immediacy of reinforcement if you saw my video on matching theory, but you told me the more immediate reinforcers, the more effective it is. So you have an immediate cessation of a certain behavior. So the person who's delivering it tends to go back to punishment much more often. And you sometimes see that 30-year-old teacher who's been yelling at kids for a really long time. It becomes more and more frequent because every time they yell, they cease a behavior. So you can't just punish. That doesn't teach anything. If you are using some type of punishment procedure, you got to make sure that you're teaching an appropriate alternative of behavior so they can gain access to the same things that they wanted, but you're using a way to teach and gain access to things and a way that reduces behaviors. The two can work hand in hand. I hope you liked my video today on pitfalls of punishment. If you would like to help us to continue to disseminate the science, please like and share this video.
Bye.